So who wants to start? What do you feel like saying?
I feel like saying that. Okay.
Go, Steph.
Okay, I feel like saying that was very delicious, Annie. I liked it. So yes, it's nice to hear. It's nice to be here. Nice to see you all. Like we said last week, it's nice to have a connection on a regular basis with some women who are on the same journey. So that's what I feel like saying. Linda, what do you feel like saying?
Thank you, Steph. I can't, that's all I feel like saying. No. I'm really grateful for being on the call with you ladies tonight, and I've just been so overwhelmed with gratitude for all the kindness, you know, from the support that you've given me. We've just had support from so many places, and it just makes me emotional thinking about it. So I'm just really grateful for that kind of connection, like you said, Steph. It's not surface connection, it's real. And for me, ladies, in the last 4 weeks, it's what's pretty much kept me afloat. So I'm just so grateful, and I'm going to leave it there. Annie, what do you feel like saying?
Thank you, Linda. What I feel like saying, first of all, it's great to see you, Linda. And yeah, it's good to see your red hair and your beautiful blue eyes. And good to see you girls. I mean, Mindy and I have been in each other's pockets for the last 2 weeks. So, but it's always fun to talk to Mindy and see Mindy and Stephanie, you know, like, I love your website. I clicked on every button. So I love that. I said, oh, I love the survey. Oh, I started looking at the questions. So it's a great website. So you. It's elegant and it's simple and it's just to the point and it's just very you. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for allowing me to show that video. That video is for the platform that Mindy and I are getting on, and Linda. And it's an intro for my 28-day challenge. So not on Udemy, but on this one. So I'm so excited. So that's what I feel like saying. Mindy, what do you feel like saying?
Thank you, Annie. I feel like saying that I love these calls. I mean, I just love these calls. If I could do nothing all week and just come to these calls, I'd be really happy. but these calls give me the strength to do everything I need to do during the rest of the week. It gives me a little bit of time out, connection. You know, I don't know what the 7 power people are. 7 power people that Tony Robbins teaches about. But someone mentioned it yesterday, and I'm guessing that you guys are my 7 power people. So once I know what that is, I'm going to say, I knew it. But intuitively, I know that you guys are it for me. And that is what I feel like saying. So also, wait. For Hannah, I know that she can't be here now because she's doing a presentation in a couple of hours, which I'm going to join in also to check her out. But we love you and miss you. Power whoosh. Yeah, Annie, let's do it. Give Hannah a power whoosh. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. Yeah, to Hannah. She's SR is doing a real big push on promoting the UPW. So they're taking all of their resources, and it's interesting, ladies. I don't know, maybe because that's my eye, but I've noticed that most of the people who are running these master classes for Tony's program are women.
Yes, I've noticed a few women, actually. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a, you know, that's the big market. The women is a big market, and yeah, women are a big market, and they're out there, and they should be leading more, and that's what we're here to do. So start with us. Start with us, and that's what I feel like saying also.
Thank you.
Before Stephanie starts to tell us a little bit about herself, is there anything that someone wants to bring up?
I do.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I share an amazing win with you ladies that I got today?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to read an email that I got sent because it just, it's the work we do, and because we do it and we get to practice it, it's from the client that I do all this mind stuff from, but it's from like one of the mind sites And so they, they have like 800, 1,000 people, and Steph, you would know as well. Like they have the pick of who they want. I got this email sent this morning, and I'm blown away. And I haven't had anyone to talk to you all day. It's my first day at home, so hi Claudia. I just if I can just share this, because I'm like, wow. So I got this email, and it said, it's addressed to Brenda, the lady I contract to, and it said, just wanted to ask if it's possible that Linda Gale was put forward, if available, for the training booked in at Collinsville, wherever possible. Obviously, I had amazing feedback from the ANTS training that she has delivered, which is all leadership. She had the crews interacting with one another. They thoroughly enjoyed the training. I had them sharing, pairing, like I was yelling out. The managers were coming out to go, what's going on? A lot of them said they think it was because of Linda and the way she runs her courses. Again, yesterday I had more positive feedback, which is something we don't usually get. And I'm like this was just all unsolicited. She's just put this there, and I'm like, how amazing. And it's exactly all the things that we learn about connecting and reading a room, and even all those things. And I'm just like, how good is it to be able to I'll take this into an audience where that's not what they do, but they respond like these are men that, and from all men and women, but they bring up very personal and they make themselves very vulnerable, and it's just like, how cool. So I just want to share that win, and thank you for listening, because I haven't been able to share it with anyone all day.
Bravo. Give it up for Linda. Wow.
Go, Linda.
Oh, God.
You got the boys in order. Whip them. Push-ups. Sit-ups, mate.
They do push-ups.
Wow, that is beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing, Linda. That's great. Transforming.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Claudia, my dear friend, welcome. What do you feel like saying?
I feel like saying sorry, ladies. I was rushing because I have been doing a lot of things. And also, well, I want to share something that is sad, but at the same time is good, because my grandpa passed away, but he was almost 100 years.
Wow.
So I'm super happy to have him for a long, long time. And also last time that I saw him, I did presents with him and everything, so it was very beautiful. So it's like, well, but we know, we kind of, every year we are expecting like, one more year, how could come, no? Because you can see him that he was just like sleeping, talking a little bit, sleeping, eating, it's like, and I think he doesn't like to be like that, because he's super active man, but he's good. And then I have been doing a lot. I was super stressed because they have been changing my flights 20 times, and finally I get the flights. I supposed to go in via Hong Kong and Hong Kong Adelaide, because this was the thing, and I can get Adelaide. All the things are cancelled except Qatar, but Qatar is super expensive. They don't allow me. I mean, if I want to take my bike with me, it will cost me almost $2,000 just for my bike. Wow. I was like, no way. And I find Qatar, that is amazing airline as well, and they take 30 kilos plus, including my bike and everything. So I'm super happy. So I said, no, I wouldn't. And the client, the customer service that they have been giving me is on top of the roof. So I said, no, I would not change it. But now my flight is via Hong Kong, Perth. I need to do quarantine in Perth and then go to Adelaide. But I'm happy because I think Perth is clean, apparently, right now, and everything is good. So, yeah, but right now it's like, oh my God, 14 days in a hotel. I never in my life have been in a small room for a long time. So I don't know what I will manage that. This will be a big challenge for me, especially being super hyperactive. But let's see what happens. So, but all good, yeah, phones, I know phones, and I'm super busy doing a lot of things. So I think all will be good, but all good. This is what I want to share.
Thanks, Claudia. Thanks. When is your flight home? When is your flight out of Spain?
The 3rd, I leave Madrid, go London, Hong Kong, Perth.
Wow.
And arrive on the 4th or something like that. And then 15 days later, or 14, Adelaide.
Wow. Okay. So have a safe trip. It's next week. Is it next week? Week after?
It's next week. But now is the challenge, like how go to Madrid. So with all the bags, so it's all, you know, all this stress, and I'm by myself. So it's like, oh my God, what I will do this. But I'm getting solutions. So all good, all good.
Good. Good, good. Thank you. Great. Well, I'm glad you made the time to come join us in the.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love you, girl. So yes.
Yeah.
We love you back.
Big time. Yay.
So Mindy, what do you feel like saying?
Thank you. I said that I just love you guys, and we all said that. I think all of us said it in one way or another, that we love one another and grateful for this group of women. So I guess that's a good summary. And I do. So thank you. So Stephanie, I've been so excited to hear a little bit more about you and your life and what you do, what turns you on. So give it to us, lady. Give a big power whoosh to Stephanie, okay? 1, 2, 3, whoosh.
Whoosh.
Thanks, ladies. And I know everybody's done this differently. So, you know, I wondered, do I prepare something or do I just show up? And it felt right to just show up.
Nice.
So, you know, if you have questions, great. If not, I can tell you the story from my perspective now. You know, it's funny, you know, that's the funny thing when you think about this sort of thing. It's, you know, the story I would have told you 10 years ago versus the story I would have told you 20 years ago, which versus the story I'll tell you now about my life is probably really different, right? But I was always a very, let's say, big personality child, because I was very, very spoiled. So my parents, my dad's one of 8, my mum's one of 5, and they're around there, like the eldest in their family. And both families migrated to Australia, to the Philippines, when my parents were in their teens. So they did high school, they finished off, well, actually mum finished high school in the Philippines and then did nursing here. And then dad finished high school here and did medicine here, and they met and they got married when my mother was 19. And so they had me, she had me when she was 20. And my dad's youngest brother was only 5 or 6. Yeah. And I was born. So my siblings, if you like, were my aunts and uncles. And so dad was one of 8, and his older brother sort of abdicated looking after, and long story, his parents lived overseas, so they looked after themselves. So I had like all these aunts and uncles that I was like their doll. You know, there's all these photos of me sleeping with them. Like I was like it was like a toy. You know, there's photos of me at Christmas in amongst presents. And anyway, I tell you that because I think that was a really, that was my personality, right? I was like always the center of attention, big and loud, and, you know, sort of look at me. And then I started school in Australia in the 70s, and I was the only, it's not true, but the only non-Anglo person. So everybody else was sort of, you know, blonde hair, blue-eyed, or brown hair, blue-eyed. And there was me and my best friend who was of Italian descent. And we were the only, well, I was the Ching Chong China girl, and she was the, you know, whatever they called Italian, the wogs then. You guys get that, right? That's what they used to say in the 70s, like that was awful. So I went from this to a, you know, who are you, weird, shunned. And the only reason I always tell that story, and the only reason I tell that story is because I think that was sort of like that first inflection point of what shifted my personality. And then I had all through growing up, I had that conflict of that really big personality versus feeling very much on the outer. And then so trying to do everything in my power to be accepted, which is, I think, what sort of paved my way for some of the things that I did. And it's funny when I listen to Annie's story, because, you know, my mother always believed in very much, you know, idle time means idle children. So, you know, I had ballet, I had piano, I had swim training, like it was school and it was extracurricular activities. And when I got home, I'd put my pajamas on and do my homework, you know, eat and go to bed. Like it was my whole schooling life. And so I did that. I was really good until I met a boy. And then, I don't know, rebelled, whatever. And so I got kicked out of home when I was 17, as soon as I finished my last year of school or finished my, like the big exams. And I ended up marrying him.
How old were you when you met him?
So there, yeah. So, you know, when I talked about I got divorced, I met him when I was 15. And then we were married by the time we got engaged when I was 21, married by the time I was 23, divorced by the time I was 30. And we had Kaylee when I was 28, and we tried for years, and I didn't really want children at the time. He really did, you know, and it's what you did. So I tried, I couldn't fall pregnant. So then I enrolled in my master's, and as soon as I enrolled in my master's, what happened? I fell pregnant. Because I wasn't focused on it. And inside of 6 months, I knew that because we were kids when we got together, and the only reason we stayed together, I can look at it now, is because that's just what you did, right? And it's hard to say, but if we'd never had children, we probably would have stayed in this very, what's the word? Like you're together, but you're not really together. You have your own lives and you sort of share the same space, but you don't really have a relationship. We never had a conversation. We had completely different ideas about child rearing, and anyway. Yes. So in the end, that was that whole, and that's how my story started. And like the book and everything was from that point, because I was like, hit 30 and I'm like, who am I? What am I doing? And part of it was I met Adrian when I was going through this, and he had just gone through his own divorce. So it was kind of funny, because then he counseled me through my divorce about, that he regretted not seeing a counselor, and we should see a counselor, and we should try to heal it and all that sort of stuff. So it's always quite amusing that he was the one that was helping me through that. Anyway, but that's how we met. So it was kind of strange. So I never really had a lot of time on my own. And so it's funny, like I said in my book, I met him and then basically repeated life, right? We dated, we got married, well, we had kids, we did it a bit backward. And then we hit a point when we finally did decide to get married, because we weren't ever going to, about 1 year into the marriage, like it was, I wouldn't say bad. It was quite, he'd left work. He was running his own business. So he was sort of, what's the word? Unsure of himself. When you first start a business, you're like, ugh. And then, and I was still in corporate. And so I was the breadwinner. So think about Tony Robbins' concept, right? All of the masculine and feminine went the wrong way. And so we had no polarity. Yeah, it was, we learned about that afterwards. And so, I'm just very lucky that he sticks with it. And we went and did Date with Destiny that year and had a intervention by Tony and Sage. And that was the same year I met Blair. That was when I met you, Annie. That was that same year. It's all happened the same year. We got married 2012. Beginning of 2013 was that weekend with Blair doing Sales and Leadership Mastery. And then that year was all sorts of things happened. I was overseas for work for 2 months, for the first time we'd ever been apart for that long, and all sorts of crazy stuff anyway. And then we did Date with Destiny that year. And that year was the year that I just, up until that point, personal development to me, that was like bloody weirdos and wackos and I mean, Blair always tells a story, right? Because I was sitting there going in his
I
whole
was there.
session, but
I was there.
and I did, didn't I?
And Adrian was like shining, and you were like, yeah.
That was in Sydney.
No,
Yep.
that attitude was happened at Master Facilitator. I don't remember you from,
Well,
from
yeah.
Sales and Leadership. I don't remember you from that one, but I remember you from Master Facilitator. And by the end of it, you were jumping up and down. As you do.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Like it started there. So all of my realization, self-discovery, all of it started from that point. So it's only been a very, very short period of time, based, in terms of everything else. But it's interesting now because I can look at the story of my life and see it from a very different perspective than I once did, which is always heartening. So that's me. So now what do? I did mountain leadership, stood on top of the mountain and said, why am I in an executive corporate career that I don't love? I'm just good at, they wanted us to move from Singapore to the US. And, Adrian's like, if that's what you want and you really enjoy it, because it was the next level up, we'll go. And I'm like, I didn't even know why I was doing it. So it was standing on top of the mountain. It was like, okay, no, this isn't what I want. And so then it took me probably another year to sort of figure out what I want. I did lots of courses and everything, and then ended up doing Brendan's program. And that was sort of the linchpin for me that said, okay, that's what I want to do. So, we climbed the mountain July 2016, July 2017, and it was very nice. The universe supported me. It all coincided very nice because that was the end of my assignment in Singapore with J&J, and they had to repatriate me back to Australia. And then we knew there were no jobs at my level in Australia, so then I had to be paid severance, and Australian severance laws are very good. So that helped fund the start of the business. So I was very lucky, very blessed that way. But I tell you, people ask me now, I have not looked back, not once. People say to me, don't you miss the status of the role or the money or the, none of it, not one thing. Adrian and I often say to each other, I actually think I would shrivel up and curl up and die if somebody told me tomorrow I had to go back into a corporate job, honestly. Like it's just so not me. And yet for so many years, that was my life, right? 25 years, I was in corporate 25 years. I never did not work. Even when I had my kids, I took time off to have them, but then I went straight back to work. So it's been a very interesting journey because my priorities now are my kids, my husband and his business, and then my business in that order. Because for me, it was always the other way around. It was always my job, right? Then it was my husband, then it was my kids, to be perfectly honest. And my eldest daughter would tell you that. Her growing up, because she's 19 now, right? So the whole time she grew up, I was working. So she's had a very different upbringing with the same mother, at least, compared to her siblings, right? So my youngest, she still remembers me working, but it's getting less and less of a memory because the time I'm spending with them is longer than the time I wasn't working. So it's interesting. So yes, so now I enjoy, as I say to people, it's my retirement gig. I do as much as I like or want to, but at the moment, and I think I said this to you a couple of times, Mindy, I'm struggling with, how do you divide your attention, right? Because the kids are my focus, supporting them, and particularly with what they're doing with online schooling, supporting Adrian, his business, because he's back to being the primary breadwinner, and then doing what I love, which is the coaching that I do. So, that plus I do a bit of consulting with somebody else, plus our thing. So I feel like I have 5 different roles.
What's Alfie?
Yes. Pardon?
What's Alfie?
What, consulting?
No, you said there's after the consulting, you said you have you help Adrian. Oh, our thing in Australian language.
I'm not enunciating clearly, sorry.
I heard Alfie. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh no. Yes, our thing. Our thing.
So why don't you tell us about your trip? Like, that's a huge thing to decide to travel the world with the kids, to educate them, see the world, all of that. And you did it for a year.
Yeah. So do you know when we devised that plan? The year we decided that when we were on our honeymoon in 2012. So we went on our honeymoon. So it's still strange that we got married because we'd always said we weren't going to get married. Anyway, we went on our honeymoon and we went to Europe, and that was the first time Adrian had been to Europe. So I'd been before, but he hadn't. We went to France and Italy, and I'll never forget it. We were on the train going between cities in Italy and watching the scenery go by, and we were just talking about, wouldn't it be amazing if we could, do this with the kids? Wouldn't it be amazing if we could just take some time out and just spend time as a family and see the world and really, give them, because remember, this was sort of at the height of, we were trying to work out ourselves, what we wanted our life to be like. And we didn't think much of it. And then when we got to Singapore in 2014, and we were really sort of trying to figure out, and obviously we'd done a whole bit of transformation with personal development. We were really trying to figure out, okay, well, what does the future look like with our family and with the kids? And knowing my whole Singapore stint, then we said we should do that because that's really what we wanted to do. And we planned it then. So we said the year that and Michaela would have been finished school, so it was the year after she would have done her HSC, we thought that's the perfect year because Quinn won't be in high school. So it wasn't really, a lot of people are like, oh, all of a sudden. It wasn't all of a sudden. We'd planned it for years. We just got to November of 2018 and really just said, okay, are we going to do it? Because it was the following year, right? And we weren't financially where we wanted to be, but we said to each other, if we don't do it now, like we'd always planned, we won't, because conditions are never going to be ideal. So we did, and winged most of it. I mean, literally what we planned was their schooling. That was the biggest stress for me. And then some airline tickets, and everything else we sort of just did as we went. And it was the best thing we ever did. Best thing we've ever did. The kids, in terms of their level of being able to deal with uncertainty, that trip just prepared them for COVID.
Yeah.
Well, prepared us all for COVID, really. I've learned to live with only 2 weeks worth of clothes. So yes.
So what were like, I'm sure the whole thing was fun, but what were the things that really stood out, or the lessons that you've had, and now what were some of the challenges that clearly taught you something, I'm sure?
Yes, and it's funny because everyone always asks what are the challenges, and the funny thing is I can honestly look back, and even the kids, like all of us, we honestly look back on the trip and there wasn't anything that was really challenging, because we didn't allow it to be, because everything was an experience and we knew that, and we had no fixed expectations about what anything should be like. I think I blogged about, we got stuck in Bordeaux airport because the flight we were on that was cancelled, and so the next flight they put us on was 12 hours later, so we spent 14 hours in Bordeaux airport. And it was the end of the summer holidays in Europe at the time. And so the plane was full. So the whole flight that got cancelled. So there was all these people milling around trying to work out what flight they were going to get on. And they were so angry. So it was like this whole, that vibe when everybody's really angry. And it was funny because the kids got in that. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And we turned around, we said to them, interesting. What other perspective could you take on this? And did this whole thing so that by the end they were laughing, like the whole, you know, it was like that whole, you know, release. And it always sticks out in my mind as that was the lesson for the trip. We just didn't allow anything to hijack us, I guess. We just enjoyed every experience for what it was, whether it was, you know, I know we had an earthquake when we were in the States. We had floods when we were in Europe. We had a typhoon when we were in Asia. But, you know, we say to, you know, we sit around the dinner table every night, and we might just be walking past one another and we'll say, random memory from the trip. And someone always has some sort of memory that comes up. So it's that nice shared experience too that everybody can talk about. So yes, it was, I honestly, I can't say there was any challenges. There really wasn't. We just dealt with it.
I probably should have asked differently, but I just couldn't come up with the word. Challenges probably not, but those moments, what were the moments when you go, ooh, you know, and how did you overcome them? Because it is like I saw the photos and you're carting the backpacks and kids and everything. It's like, it's quite a thing, I would say, you know. Yeah. And I only have one kid, so he was easy, but you got a couple. So how do you do that? You know, and we didn't backpack.
No, they got into the swing. Everyone just had their job, right? We would make it was like not a game so much as, but it was moving day, right? So we're moving day tomorrow. So everybody's going to get ready. You know what happens with moving day. And so everyone packs up their own stuff, gets it in the things. Dad gets it, you know, he does the puzzle stuff into the bags. Everyone knows what bags they have to carry. And you know, in the beginning it was a little bit, okay, trying to adjust and work it out, but I feel like the kids have more moods being stuck in one place, you know, now with COVID than they ever did on the trip, because we were always on the go, or we were always experiencing something new every day. It was, in some ways, it was almost like overload of experience. Like it was so, you know, everything, every day, there was something new. So we had, I would say we probably coped best because we did create some structure around it. You know, we had, you know, moving day and what we would do to unpack, what we would do to pack. So everybody knew that, you know, we knew we had this routine where we'd stay wherever we were in the morning so everyone could get their work done, and then we would sightsee in the afternoon unless we had to change that up. But, you know, we gave the kids certainty. 6 human needs, right? We gave them certainty because they had routine amongst all of the variety that they had. So, I mean, I'd say to everybody, if you ever had a chance to do it, you would do it, because they'll never forget it. We'll never forget it.
Yeah. That's one of my big regrets. I'm so envious of you actually doing it, taking the time out, taking them out of school, and just going and enjoying life. You learn so much more that way of life than in school.
And it was really hard for us, right? Because, I mean, you heard about my upbringing. Like, there's no way, like, my parents would never have done that. I mean, they thought we were crazy. All right. And so I've had that whole upbringing of, you know, go to school, get good grades, go to uni, get good grades, get a good job, blah, 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 drilled into me. And that's how I live my life. And I have to catch myself sometimes from falling into that pattern with my kids, instead of saying, you know, are you enjoying yourself? You know, is this a good experience, you know, with their schooling, right? You know, are you learning, or is it something else you could be doing different? Of course, you ask my kids though, they think I'm a weird. They said to me my youngest daughter said to me the other day, why can't you just be a normal mum? I said, well, what's a normal mum? What's a normal mum? And she says, well, you never answer a question. She says, I ask you what you think and you say, well, what do you think? And I said, well, because I don't want to put my opinion on you. You know, or she'll say something and I say, well, what's another perspective you could take on that? So she says to me, that's not normal.
That's not normal.
Well, your grandmother always used to give me her opinion, and that went well, not.
That's funny.
So yes, I have the story that and I think a lot of you get this, but the story that I also have is that whole mixed racial generational thing. Like I'm the first generation of immigrants. So I was born in Australia, grew up in Australia, went to school in Australia. So for all intents and purposes, culturally, I'm Australian, but I grew up in a household that wasn't Australian. So I have all this odd mix of things. Whereas my kids don't have that, right? So it's different for them.
How, Stephanie, how that affect you, or how you now is like I
had no tolerance for my parents as a child, absolutely none. And then when we lived overseas and I went to the countries they were born in, now from, it was an eye-opener, because it was the realization of how big a change they had lived through in migrating from one country to another. And why, so my mother, after moving to Australia, like she hates Asia.
Really? Wow.
Hates going there, doesn't like going back, doesn't like, it's a very strange thing, right? Like when we moved to Singapore, she was just, we were there for 3 years. I think it took us 2 years to convince her to come, because she's just like, because her whole growing up and her experience of living and being in Asia was so traumatic. And coming to Australia was that freedom for her that she just, and I could never understand it, right? I was like, but then, you see, so. It's perspective, amazingly. Different perspectives.
How did you get to the decision?
So it's funny because I laugh.
Sorry.
My mum's family moved to Australia because her father was unwell, and the doctors told him that he needed a cooler climate, because in the Philippines it was quite warm, right? And the only place they could get a visa to at the time was Australia, so they moved to Melbourne. But they moved to Melbourne and then couldn't adjust. Like I think they stayed here for a year, and then he couldn't really find work, and they couldn't adjust. So my mum was 12 at the time, and they moved back to the Philippines. And then my mother apparently she couldn't adjust going back there. So she came back out to Australia when she was 15 by herself.
Wow.
As a trainee nurse. Lived with the nuns, because the hospital she went to work for was run by nuns. So she lived with the nuns at 15, learning to be a nurse.
Wow. I was asking about you. You guys, your intention now is to move back.
Happy that yes, and she's quite happy now that we're stuck in Australia.
Yeah, I believe it. She
does not want us to go back to Asia. And we're desperate to go back, and she's so happy that we're stuck here.
But tell me about that decision.
It's a very odd thing.
You guys made a decision.
House.
Malaysia. That's supposedly your new home, right?
Yeah. So originally we moved to Asia because J&J took us to Asia. It was going to be an experience, but we loved the experience so much. After doing the trip, we didn't feel ready to move back to Australia. And one of the things that we knew we were going to do at the end of the trip was travel around Southeast Asia. So we were going to base ourselves in Malaysia and travel to Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand to check out all of the different, living potential. But we loved it so much in Malaysia. And then the consultant that we were working with, it was the easiest, at the time, it was the easiest place to get a visa. So that's why we decided Malaysia. I like Southeast Asia. I like the warmth. I like the climate. I like the way of living. I like it. It just appeals to us. You know, we had such a great time living in Singapore, and Malaysia is very similar, just has a bit more character. The Singapore's can get quite sterile after a while. I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong, and I'd live there if I could. It's just very expensive, as Annie knows.
My sister loves it though.
So yes,
They're good, you know. But you know what's really interesting? You talk about
it's a great life.
As far as the life, it's a good life. The expat life over there is great, and I think expat life anywhere in Asia is quite good, you know. But you know what's really interesting? You talk about your mom, who was, you know, 15 with the nuns and all that kind of stuff, and strict and all of that, and you and your two brothers that I know, you guys are wild, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
there you probably know why. My mother rules with an iron fist.
yeah. And one of them is an acrobat, or I don't even know what, you know.
Stuntman.
Stuntman, that's right. And sorry?
Is it me being delayed?
What is that? I don't know what is that.
He does movies?
Stuntman. Yeah, you know, the ones that do all the crazy things in movies in place of the actors.
Oh, okay, wow. Yeah. Wow.
Nuts. He goes, walks through fire.
Well,
yeah,
your brother RJ is out there, like out there.
Well, yeah, because some of you might know him because he's the one that introduced me to Blair.
Yeah,
he's the one in UPDP in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he's done UPDP like 6 times or something.
Really?
Stupid. 6 times or 8 times he's done UPDP? Something crazy.
I did UPDP with him, and his team is the one that came back. They lost. They're the first team that lost. They put in most of the money, and then they came back and they won.
Nice.
It was amazing. Amazing. Yeah, so it was good. But he's crazy, and he's the one that I got stuck with once at one of the sales explosions. Holy shit, doing the objection handling. He was yelling in my face. I was like, yeah. So, and I did, and you know, in trainer, because everybody here has done trainer, you know, Lincoln and this other guy, Alistair, they're the ones that I had to do the presentation at the end, the 3 of us. You know how at the end of trainer, you have to do a presentation? Well, I had to do it to Lincoln and to Alistair, and I was talking about bras and knickers at the time. It was like, yeah. So who is Jay Barros?
So you know, the uncle that I told you was really young when I was born?
Yeah.
She's his wife.
Okay. All right. I tried to figure out the connection. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So she's more like a sister, like she's closer in age to me than my own sister. So my sister is 12 years younger than me.
No.
Oh.
But Jay's only 5 years older than me.
I haven't met your sister, only your brothers. I mean, I don't remember meeting your sister, but yeah.
No, it's because she's the conservative one, because she basically grew up in the household, because there's 12 years difference, but so she was born when I was in high school. So she grew up with my parents differently, right? It's like Ariel growing up with me now compared to Michaela growing up with me. You know, when I was young, my mother ruled with an iron fist, right? You didn't put a foot out of place. By the time my sister grew up, my mother was she would say, so beaten down by Lincoln, RJ and I. But her attitude with my sister was, whatever, just, you know, you'll be right. And so my sister's the most conservative.
But it's funny if your mom...
She did what she...
It's funny that if your mom was lenient with her, you think she would have been a wildcat, but she ended up not. Funny that. She had nothing
Exactly.
to
That's
fight.
exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's funny.
Exactly. So she just, I mean, she's, you know, she's married to a paramedic. She's a nurse. So my father, who told me, do not be a doctor, like absolutely was, you are not to do medicine. You are not to do medicine. Do accounting or computing or something like that, because that's where the money is. Don't do medicine. Gets to my sister and laments how nobody followed in his footsteps. So she didn't know what to do. So she goes, well, I'll do nursing because medicine, you have to work too hard. And she's bright. She could have done medicine if she wanted to, but she's like, well, I'm not doing that because you have to work too hard. So she's a nurse.
Wow.
And she's married to a paramedic and she lives, you know, in upper New South Wales. They have 3 kids. She's very conservative and will not go anywhere near personal development.
Yeah.
Thinks we're all crazy with that stuff. It's fine. I love her to death and we all get on, but she says, don't talk to me about that stuff. Talk to Lincoln and RJ about that stuff, not me.
Well,
But mind you, when Lincoln was 21,
Crazy ones in the
he
world
was
that do it.
So
I was going to say, when
Lincoln,
Lincoln was 21,
Lincoln and
he
the
tried
other,
to do Tony Robbins.
is your brothers too, or?
Yeah, they're both my brothers. They're younger than me, though.
I don't know them. That's why I don't know who are them.
you know RJ, Claudia. You most probably know RJ, but you don't know Lincoln. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to say something.
Linda, did you have a question? You had your hand up before. You were saying me or you had a question?
I was saying, let's face it, we're all the crazy ones that do the personal development. You know what? I'm sitting here, Steph, and I'm laughing on the inside. Your story sounds similar to mine in reverse, with the siblings and the gap and the strict and the not strict and the whole. It's interesting. Okay, my question is, are you guys still on the farm?
No. That's another long story. Adrian's brother is a COVID refugee as well because he's an expat working in China.
Oh.
So he got stuck in
COVID
Australia
refugee.
since Christmas.
I like the terminology.
So he got stuck in Australia since Christmas because they came here for Christmas, and then when COVID sort of hit January, February in China, they couldn't go back. So they've been staying with his mum here at her place in Sydney City since December last year. And they only just left because his wife is German and they were going stir crazy. So they tried to go somewhere and they were able to get to Germany because she's German. And they had a holiday booked in France that she was desperate to go to. And because Europe's borders are open, they managed to get over there. Of course, Claudia, but now they're having problems getting back. Honestly, we said to them, but how are you going to get back? And they're like, oh, no, we'll be fine. Anyway, so now, the airlines have been cancelled and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so his mum just said when they left, she said, instead of staying at the farm, because, it's colder and more isolated, she said, come and stay with me in the city until they come back. So if we're still here when they come back, we'll probably go back to the farm. Although I think she wants to kick them to the farm and keep us here.
What do you want to do?
Oh, actually, no, I don't. I mean, she's very easy to get on with. Our routine's much more similar to hers because of the kids. We get up at the same time, we have early dinner, we do all of that. Whereas because the two of them, well, he has children from his first marriage, but she's his second marriage. They don't have kids. And they're working Shanghai hours, so they keep really odd hours. So she finds it very disruptive to her routine. So we'll see. Who knows?
Well, go where the wind blows. You're used to that, going where the wind blows. But tell us about your work. You said you've been so busy now since COVID, and I don't know, maybe moving back to Australia. But you said you've been really busy. Tell us what you're doing in your own work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's about being in Australia, but I noticed since March, basically since the real, lockdown and COVID, I had a lot of people reaching out, probably from two perspectives. One, because, with a lot of people, I guess, being let go or, and they saw it, was people realizing, oh, my job's not really that safe and I don't really have a plan for what I would do without this job. All right. So I've had that. The other is COVID's given people a lot of time to reflect and a lot of time to think, well, what am I doing with my life? Like, I don't really have a plan for what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing what I really, really want to be doing. So I think, the silver lining for me with COVID is it's made so many people so much more reflective. I've had lots of people reaching out because of that. So I've had way more one-on-one clients. I've had way more group clients. So, basically teams come to me because, again, they're sort of, the team dynamic is more about how do they keep them motivated and gelled and working, with, particularly as COVID where, keeps going. The team thing has been more about that. So it hasn't been through any more advertising or anything like that. It's mostly been network and word of mouth and people who know me and know that's what I do, and then referring other people and then reaching out. So this was always supposed to be, for me, like I say, it's like a retirement business. It was never meant to be full time. But like, I had 3 coaching calls today,
Wow.
3 coaching calls tomorrow. I've just had a few clients finish, but I was coaching almost every day, and it was never the intent. The intent was always be able to focus on the kids, coach when I had time, and help Adrian with his business. But it's mostly one-on-one coaching and some group coaching as well.
Yeah. So it hasn't, that wasn't the
It's just
plan, but it's
more
happened. So what are you going to do with that?
I'm not going to change it. I was looking at doing more marketing in terms of real, I guess, targeted, more consistent targeted advertising to open the funnel at the top a bit more, but I don't think I think I'll sit on that for a while longer.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So we'll see. And then Adrian's business has exploded as well, because obviously people realize that their jobs aren't necessarily secure. So those that are interested in the markets go, oh, well, who can I learn from about investing, making money in other ways? So he's had again, a massive inflow of new clients, because people who are interested in that sort of thing, I'm not, but people who are interested in that sort of thing are coming to him, want to learn how to trade.
Oh, nice.
Because they want to shore up their futures. Yeah.
Nice. Just
So,
in parentheses, I signed up for a course in the end of September. I think he's teaching for Florian's program. So I'll be joining.
Yeah. And so he's yes, you're talking too, right? Yeah.
I spoke already.
And the thing is, for him, oh yeah, that's right, you did, didn't you? Because it's over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But I think his business is ready to go to that next level. So he's trying to, because he's been like, his business is now 7 years old.
Wow.
So he's really now trying to that next level in terms of, he's got consistent revenue, but it's basically consistent flow, right? So it's interesting. It's good for me to be the fledgling business behind, because then I learn from his and can apply as and when I want to. Hence taking 3 years to upgrade my website.
But I think it makes a big statement when you have a website and you put a website out there. You could have all sorts of offers, for one-on-one you did there, your groups, speaking, workshops. I mean, you really put yourself out there, and it's done very well. So there must be something more than fourth place or third place.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't know how exciting that really is, but at least now you know a little bit more about me, where my straight-lacedness comes from, but also where my craziness comes from.
What's the craziest thing you ever did? I mean, I haven't seen you so crazy. You seem very, very calm, and I didn't do any programs with you, but what's the craziest thing you did? What's crazy look like for you?
What's the craziest thing I've ever done? You know, I've jumped out of planes. I've
That's pretty crazy. I'd say that's pretty
let's-
crazy.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
jumped out
I
of
mean,
a plane? Why did you do that?
I'm big on, I don't, you know, it's funny, like the societal upbringing was, you know, get a good job, get good grades, get the house, do all of that. And it never really fulfilled me. I've always been really big on experiences. So why did I jump out of a plane? Because I wanted to know what it would feel like.
Wow.
And plus, I have this insane urge to do things that scare the shit out of me.
Okay.
So if it scares me, then I think I really should do it. I know, it's weird. But it's like climbing a mountain. I didn't want to do it. I honestly didn't, but it scared me. So it was, well, I really should, because it's like I didn't want to do a TED talk. It's scary.
You're so great at it, by the way. It's beautiful.
But yeah, it's that. I just had this, if it was something that I ran from one side of the house to the other on the second story because I used to jump on the banister and slide down it. And I missed the banister and fell 2 stories to the bottom of the floor, and I cracked my chin. I got concussion. I went out like that, cracked my chin, but there was blood everywhere. And my father thought I was dead. Wow. My mother was, so I don't remember any of this, but they were like, yeah.
You are nuts. Look, actually, someone take a picture of this. Take a picture. I don't have my keyboard with me. You got to take a picture of this. That's crazy.
And you know, it's funny because Steph is always so quiet and so, you know, she's just to the point and all of that. But
we should all do that and take a photo. We should all do Steph.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Ready? Quick. Oh, okay, so next, if she comes back up and the same thing happens, we go straight back into it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's funny. She is nuts. If it scares her, she'll do it because it scares her. That's cool.
Has anybody else jumped out of a plane?
Claudia probably jumped out of a plane.
Is it good?
It's the best feeling you can have in the world of be in peace. I never experienced the most peaceful moment in my life when the parachute opens. It's like silence. Silence, you floating, is nothing in the world that bothers you. You should do it. Really? All of you should do it. Because really, it's just the scary thing is just to jump to the airplane. But I'm telling Steffi what is the feeling, and I don't know you, but for me, it's the most peaceful feeling in the world when the parachute opens. It's like just floating, just silence, nothing, right?
That's why I love this group, because there's something in all of you that I deeply connect with. See, for me, Annie is like the the big loving personality that I know I can find in myself sometimes. Claudia is the adrenaline junkie that I know is in me. Linda is out there in front of her workshops and her audiences that I know I can do. And I know Mindy knows my heart when it comes to working as a corporate executive. So it's funny, isn't it? When you find people that you know, like I can feel a part of my heart in each of you and see a part of my heart in each of you and over my life. And it's, you know, I know why I know that's why I'm here. And when I look at Hannah, I always look at her and just think everything she's had to overcome in her life, you know, that dissonance when it comes, you know, when you come from, you know, you have the cultural stuff that you deal with. Yeah, so it's funny, isn't it? But yes, jumping out of an airplane is horrendously scary, but amazing experience.
And it's just
Amazing.
to jump. It's just the jumping because you think, oh, this will not open.
Just the
Once
jumping
you jump, you enjoy the rest of them. It's like you enjoy every single moment.
I think I would be screaming and then just shrieking. And then shrieking with just like, ah!
Enjoying that my heart keeps stop trying to jump out of my chest.
I'm considering it. I would jump out of a plane more than bungee jump.
Yeah, I haven't done that. It doesn't appeal to me.
No. But I at some point I'm gonna do the plane.
I remember the first time I did the plane was in Australia.
First time. So she's really crazy. She's done it more than once. The first time.
Yeah, no, I only have to do it once.
I couldn't stand up. My legs was I was too scared that the guy needs to carry me. I said, okay, put your feet in my feet. He was so very big. And because I couldn't stand up. I was like,
in the plane? In the plane? So how many times have you jumped, Claudia?
What?
How many times have you jumped out of a plane?
Well, the second, I think just twice, and the second time was in Fiji and was alarmed with the tsunami. And we still, what's going on? Everybody's running, people getting in the bus, going away. And this guy's taking us to the office, watching the video, the alarm is, and I asked, what is that? Oh, it's a tsunami alarm. Okay. We went to the airplane. And the guy in the airport, hey guys, you know that is the tsunami's coming. Yeah, don't worry, we will jump and then we will solve it. And guys, okay, the airport is closed, okay, bye. And we are like, okay, we go up and then the pilot received the call, you can't do anything, you need to stay in the air because the tsunami. And he's like, okay. So he teaches all Fiji around.
Wow.
And we didn't see anything. And the pilot, you know what, let's go to jump. It's nothing here. Always is the same jump. And we just jumped in a desertic island. Nobody was anywhere. And then everybody's like, everybody. When we arrived, people was there in the roof of the hotel. You know, the Sidrate, they are like 2 hours in the roof. And we are like, what's going on? But we are like thinking, you know, if the tsunami coming, I mean, what we will be? The very safety place in the earth, right? I mean, what's so funny? And we are scary about, the passports, the money, the things that we live in there, you know? I mean, stupid things, but yeah, what's so funny? But I could do many times. I would love it. I can do it with you girls. If we go together, it will be fun.
Yeah, well.
She's like, yay. I'll come.
I'll climb the mountain again. I don't know if I'm gonna jump out of a plane. I've done that, with a kite in the sky.
My son.
I've done that 2 times with once with a kite.
Oh yeah, I want to do that.
Hang gliding. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh.
I don't know what the difference, but it's fun.
I did that in New Zealand off the mountain. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I would love to do it in Brazil. They do it quite a bit in Brazil. Oh my God,
My
floating
daughter
over.
did in Rio.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
That'd be
that's my. I want to. There's a few countries I want to go to. Gosh, it's like being chained down at the moment. You know, like it's been a while since I traveled. It's like, okay, I gotta travel. I'm making a list of where I want to go. And I'm going, it's getting really big, man. Because, you know, normally you divide it over the time in a year, but now it's all compiling because you can't go anywhere. It's like,
That's why part of me doesn't want to go back to Australia, because if they don't allow me to go out, I will be, I will be like engaged, you know, in a country engaged. It's like, oh. But anyway.
Australia's a big place, Claudia. So if you can't get out of the country, you
No,
might
but you can go.
I mean,
Right now, you can go anywhere.
You're not allowed to cross state borders at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
and I can't go anywhere more than 5
Yeah.
kilometers from my house.
And he's locked down.
Wow.
No, but lockdown where I live, that you can go even in the patio of the place that you live. That is a lockdown.
Yeah.
Lockdown is that you can go even in the gardens that you live. That is lockdown.
Yeah, have you
Yeah,
experienced
but
that?
Melbourne was locked down that bad till just recently, right?
Oh, no, you can go into your backyard, but you're only allowed to go to the supermarket and exercise and doctor. That's it.
Now here, no exercise. No, just if you have a dog, you can go outside, but no with kids, no nothing, just with dogs. You can go out, and if you go to supermarket and just one person, not two.
Yeah, here
And you
too.
need to show the list of the supermarket and the things in the car, otherwise they put you a fine.
Wow.
So you can go anywhere here. I mean, it was like...
Imagine in 50 years' time, well, maybe 30 or 40, because I don't know what will be in 50 years' time, but hopefully the world is going to be a long way different to how it is right now. But imagine sitting back to the younger generations and just, this is actually really what happened. And can you imagine if we went like 30 years back or 40 or 50 years back and we said, oh, sometime in the future, the flu is going to come and the whole world will shut down and you will be under curfew and you'll be locked down and you won't be able to leave your house and you won't, like, there's no way they would have, I wouldn't have believed it 10 years ago.
Like,
I'm going to send you, have you guys heard of Michael McIntyre?
Yes,
He's an
I
English
saw the
comedian.
video. Very funny.
Did you see it?
Yes,
I'm going
I
to
have.
send it to the, I'm going to send it to
Yes,
the,
send it.
it's hilarious.
Which one?
It's hilarious.
He goes
It's basically,
to
yeah, he goes to a fortune teller in June 2019. Very funny.
it is really good. He's very funny.
I have a question. I have a question for you girls, all of you, because I mean, I listen to Steph and I listen some of you. So in our era, okay, talking general, because this happened in Mexico, right? When you finish high school, my mom doesn't want me to study a career because she says, no, you will get married. So don't lose your time like doing in a career. So we call MMC, mientras me caso, since I get married in Mexico, MMC. So you say, no, do an MMC career that is maybe cooking or secretary or design, you know, something girly until you get married, have kids, because in Mexico, you get married, the guy go to work, you stay with the kids, and you are like a wife life, right?
Oh.
And in Mexico, the good luxury that we have is you have a person that clean the house and make everything for you, right? So my mom is like, no, I will not pay you the university if you will get married. And I was like, Mom, I will not get married. I want to go to Australia, you know. Plus, I want to marry a black guy. And she was like,
that's right.
Right? But I just want to know if it's in your time too. It's like,
Yeah.
your time or no?
No, my mom.
My mother said to
Since I was
me,
born, you're gonna go to university. You're gonna be independent. You're gonna be able to take care of yourself. You're smart. You got to go to school. Get a good job. Be independent. That was my mom's mantra. You have to be independent. You got to go to school.
Steph?
well, isn't that funny? So my father was like that. He was so fiercely worried about his daughters having to rely on a man. He was at us, so my sister and I, he was both of us to be independent, earn your own money, work. My mother was saying to me what yours was, Claudia. My mother would say to me, don't do a job where you can't look after kids because you'll get married and you'll have children, do nursing, do teaching. And my sister ended up doing nursing. And I was like, oh my God, what era are you living in? Dad supports me.
Okay.
Linda? How about your
both.
parents?
Oh, well, my mum and dad were always business people. Like when they got married, my mum and dad dated for 4 years before she was 18. She wasn't allowed to get married. 3 weeks after she was 18, they were married, and they had businesses. Like he drove trucks, they had milk bars, they did a lot of stuff. So they've always been in business. My only rule, my dad's on all of us, he said, you've got to have a job when you leave school. I don't care. If you want to go to university, we'll do it. If you don't, you stay in school until you get a job. And that was it. And it was just always never, ever any expectation. Whatever you decide to do, we'll support you. So, yeah. But my mum and dad were always business people. They didn't force us to go into business. They didn't even encourage us. They just said, whatever you want to do. So.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And you, Annie?
Oh, mine was interesting. I wanted to go to uni and they didn't want to pay for it. They said, you get a job and if you want to go to uni, you can pay your way. And they wanted me to get married, and they wanted me to get married to this fat, balding Romanian guy who would make me, the ones that are balding and then they got the long hair over the ears and a bit longer here, and they look like an emu and the stomach hanging out and oh my God. And they wanted me to marry him.
Oh God.
And one day they left me there with him in a kitchen and he tried to kiss me and and I was I swore I'll never marry a Romanian. No. And there was another Romanian guy who was really good looking, but he was out there. And he asked my parents if he could take me out, and they said no to him. Yeah. So I was just like, oh my God. And I told my parents when I was 19 that I would like to move out to learn how to be on my own. Oh my God, all hell broke loose when I said that. How dare you? We sacrificed our life for you. Yeah, all that shit, right? And so yeah. And then I married a Greek.
I think then is more Latin America, because Ingrid from Mexico, she was saying the same story. And I think it's more, I would like to see what Hannah says, because I think for sure in Mexico City is like that, because also the Latin people, machos, of course, men works, woman at home with the kids, right? So this is the mentality. That's why I think it's more Latin America. But I just want to ask you, because I was just curious, because how we born in a different countries, different educations, different mindsets, different everything.
Yeah.
So,
however, our spirit is the same.
Yeah.
Like we don't like people telling us what to do, really, and we do what we want anyway. All of us.
So the only thing that is funny with me, and I don't know if I'm the widow, is like I love a school. I prefer go to the school and sit down and the teachers give me, because if I need to do it online, I can't make it. And I love to work in corporates. I love it. I love to be, but maybe because it's public relations, you know, because for me, it's like going to the school. When I was on a holidays, I was in pain because I can talk with people, you see? So for me, going to the school, going to the university, for me was the real thing because I can talk to people, relate with people, and the same, like me working at home by myself. No, I need to go to the office, hello, go to talk with different apartments, you know. That's why maybe I think I like that. I don't know. It's funny.
I had fun in corporate. I had a good time. But
I like corporate too.
Now better. I like the work I'm doing now better. It's more interesting, much more depth than in corporate. I didn't suffer in corporate, but I want much more freedom, even freedom for me, what I want to do, what I choose to do, who I want to work with, what I want to continue doing, what I don't want to continue doing. You know, in corporate, you're really stuck into doing, and you're not even just stuck doing what they want to get done. And a lot of times, even if it's not right, you have to do it because that's the line of the company. You know, that's what you
maybe I was lucky and I have crazy bosses that they allowed me to do whatever I want. And I was in the creative area because I was in promotions, Coca-Cola and all of that. And also I remember something that is very weird. In every job I have, I took holidays when I wanted, not when they told me to do it, you know? So all the time I have the excuse like my best friend is get married, or, you know, my grandpa is very bad and I need to go to Mexico. And all the time, I remember the last time in Australia, I told my boss, well, I need to take 7 weeks to go to America because I need to go to see my family and I need to go to study. And if you don't give me 7 weeks, I understand, I will quit, you know, don't worry about it. And they are like, no. Okay, nobody gives 7 weeks before. I mean, so I don't know if maybe, I mean, that's why maybe for me, corporate is not that bad because I, in a certain way, be doing what I want, maybe.
Yeah, but you do what you want anytime, anywhere, anyhow. You don't give a shit. So it's not just corporate, it's anything. So it's you have that mentality is what you want. You're not afraid to say, okay, well, if you don't give it to me, I leave. So you're okay with that. And then they have to make a decision. So clearly you're important enough.
Yeah.
Right?
So time for a second. I want to bring it back to Stephanie because
yeah, I want to know more, Steffi, too.
Oh,
if you had one wish of what's going to happen, your next steps, what's going to be your future, what would you wish for?
I want to fulfill our dream of living completely free. So we're very free and very lucky in terms of, so when I say free, in terms of financially free, time free, location free, right? There's a little bit that holds us back, obviously, with the kids and school and that sort of thing. You know, it's as limited as we make it because it's our choice, but also there's probably a couple of, you know, financial hurdles that we want to get over. So my wish is that I get to experience what true freedom really is. Like, that's my wish. I really want to have that true experience of being completely and utterly free, and knowing, yeah, that it's all, you know, because life is that, it is all choice, right? But we create all of these, we know this, right? We create all of these boundaries. I want to be able to actually blow them all away and actually experience what living like that is like. So that's my wish.
It's beautiful.
What a great wish.
Wow. How many of you also would like to be free? Really free. I love that. Free
Yes.
of time, money, and location. My dream also. Thank you.
I'll have what she's having.
Yeah. That is beautiful. So let's give it up for Stephanie
Yep.
with a beautiful story. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing.
Thank you for listening.
So you guys are beautiful. You're beautiful, really. It's really true, heartfelt, honest, authentic, vulnerable. I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted. It's just such a pleasure to be with you ladies. So thank you so much. Linda, do you think that you can join us next year and tell a little bit of your story? Next week, not next year.
I could probably do next week. Next year, that's a wolf. I would love that.
Well, hopefully next year we'll all be free.
Yes.
Yeah. So next week is good for you, Linda? You feeling up
Definitely.
to it?
Yes, right now I am. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. So again, Stephanie, again, thank you so much. And let's do a round of what you feel like saying. Who wants to start?
I'll start. I feel like saying I'm very grateful for all of you, and thank you very much for listening. The unique experience which I have enjoyed. So thank you. Annie, what do you feel like saying?
Thank you, Stephanie. What I feel like saying is I enjoyed your story, and I have to giggle to myself because you know you're quiet and you're this and that, but there's a real daredevil underneath that. It's like I'm loud, but I'm actually more quiet inside me, right? So I'm more calculated, like, oh, I don't know, you know, whereas you're like, yeah, stuff it, let's just go. So I really enjoyed it, and I think this group is really beautiful, like really, really powerful and beautiful and soulful. And I think we have a good team, a good rhythm, a good everything. And this was a great idea to get to know each other with no, the clock, let's get on, let's do this, you know. It's given us some time to decompress, do everything else. And then with everything else, I think that we've learned along the way, I think when we come back together to do the work, I think it's going to be magic. I reckon. Yeah. And that's what I feel like saying. Linda, what do you feel like saying?
Oh, thank you. What I feel like saying is I just wish I could take a little bit of what I feel right now and just let each of you literally just feel it. It's like a little bright, not even a little, it's like a bright spark in, it's just, I just can't express how grateful I am. And listening to your story, Steph, and I will go back, I haven't done anything, I'm just stepping back, so I can't wait to listen. But I see so many similarities and so many polarities, and I'm sure, like you said, when with all of us, there's so many things there. Just that you when you're saying stuff, I'm like, oh my God, what an amazing life lesson. Oh my God, yeah, that's a great perspective. I was thinking all this, and ladies, if we don't, I think just on what we're all sharing, I think if we just took snippets of that, there's a book that needs to be given out to the world, just in that. And there's a whole program of lessons that are so relatable. I think not only just every woman, but just on we encompass so much. I think just sharing and being human and doing all that, I think we should be sharing it. And that's what I got from it, because it was just like, wow. Thank you for giving me a smile. And that's what I feel like saying. Claudia, what do you feel like saying?
Thank you. What I feel like saying is thank you, Steffi, for sharing with us. And I feel the same as you. When we started and we start this big group, and I saw that people start to leading, I say, at the end, we will be the people that we will be. It's like, so I never doubt that at the end, we will just stay the person that we will just fighting and we just want to create something together. So I'm very happy for all of you in my life. And then thank you for sharing your stories. And I'm thinking the same as you. I think you telling the story about what you suffer, and I have a little bit of that, and then Annie and Mindy and you know, and Hannah, and for sure Linda, and it's like, yeah, it's something to us to relate to each other, and it's also something that every one of us has different that we learn to each other. Like you says, it's like and I think this is a good balance, because every one of us has different talents, different attributes, different skills to balance the rest, and willingness to learn from the rest. So it's really, really nice and powerful. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for, I saw a little bit your website, but I would like to have more and watch it more and everything. And this is what I feel like saying. Thank you very much. Mindy, what do you feel like saying?
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you. I feel like saying I learned a lot today, actually. You know, just by you telling your story, Stephanie, gave a lot of sparks, you know, igniting your spark, a lot of sparks of me, of thinking. And I love this perspective. Well, what do you think? And what different perspective can you put on that? And, you know, what your kids think is crazy, what your daughter thinks is crazy and not normal, is the most empowering thing in the entire world. And even just, you know, to hear that little thing that you were able to go from being in this control environment to, you know, being able to ask a question is actually giving up control. It's totally giving up control, because you don't have, it's not you, it's them. And I thought that was beautiful. And I want to take some of that into my life. So thank you so much for sharing, and thank you all for being who you are and being committed to this project that we've created, you know, and whatever comes out with it, it's just the whole process of it is pure magic in my eyes. So that's what I feel like saying.
Thank you.
So have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you all next week, next Thursday. Love you all. Thank you again.
Thank you, Linda.
Hopefully I'm not being, hopefully I will be out of the airplane, because it's the 4th next week, or the 3rd.
Next week.
I will be traveling, but I'm traveling the 3rd, but I don't know. Hopefully I'm in Perth and I can see you girls. If not, Linda, I would watch the recording, but yes, okay. I will do my best. I'm trying.
I don't think you're going to be out of the plane.
Whatever, have a safe trip. If we don't see you next week, have a safe trip back home. It's a long one. If you want to call up and be entertained, you know, we can get on a call. I'll keep you company wherever you are in the world. Bye, ladies. Love you all.
I'll see you in class, girls.
Bye.